Hello family, my name is Chris, I am your home gamer dad, and welcome to the start of the Shadow Moses campaign in Metal Gear Solid, the board game. Guys, I've been so looking forward to starting this for you guys for quite a while now. Ever since I got the game, let alone when I did the unboxing and checked out a lot of awesome things in it. There's just so many cool things about this game that really translate well from the video game to a board game that it's just absolutely amazing, fantastic, and I love every single moment of it that I've spent with the game so far. Now, the way that this works is that the first two stages in the game are actually tutorial missions. You get most of your abilities in this first round, the rest of them in the next round, and then so on and so forth. The game kind of just gives you a little bit by little bit teaching of what it is that you have to do for each one of these in order to survive each one of the stages. So what I am going to do for you guys is I am going to first give this a proper tutorial of my own. There is a really cool part in the book itself where the Colonel and Snake are chatting with each other and he's like talking to him, and it's all very self-aware that this is a board game as they're talking to each other about all the rules and everything. If you do have this, make sure that you read both the Shadow Moses campaign and the rule book, because this is a really thin book right here. This is more like a rule book reference of sorts. The majority of the book, or the rules I should say, are in the Shadow Moses campaign. I do have the integral edition, or integral edition, or whatever you want to call it, so we have a full-on comic book in here as well. Once we get to the actual meat and potatoes of my playthrough, which is the playthrough past the tutorial, you will be seeing clips from the video game, from the comic book, and then maybe a few other things that I throw in here and there to spice it up a little bit. Very excited. This is going to be awesome. So if you want to just skip the tutorial and go right to the play session, boom, there you go. Go ahead to the timestamp that you see right there. Otherwise let's learn how to be a tactical espionage action agent with Snake. All right, so we got ourselves a player board over here as well as guard order and guard reaction cards. These are kind of like the main things that you're going to be bouncing back and forth with as you move your characters around on the board, and then of course what you do with Snake, the character you're playing as, and then of course what the guards are doing as well. Snake, if you're playing through the Shadow Moses campaign, is pretty much, if you're doing it solo, you will always be playing as Snake. As you go through the campaign, all the other characters will get added on with a second, third, and fourth player as you proceed through the game. There are a few changes here and there as well. If you're doing any of the VR missions, which are these special side missions that you can do for the game, you could choose any character at all. It doesn't matter if you've met them in your campaign or not. But what they do like to say also is that as you go through the campaign, you're going to be unlocking items and equipment that will go into here, this amazing, amazing memory box that looks like a PlayStation 1 memory card. And then as you gain equipment, this is where you're going to store it, and you can use that for your VR. I mean, you can really do whatever you want. It's your game. Have fun. But the way I like doing it, or I'm going to do it, is as I unlock equipment, that's going to be what I'm allowed to bring into missions such as VR missions and future other missions as well. So that's going to be fun in order to see what we get from the game as we proceed through the stages. So how does the game work? Within the Shadow Moses campaign booklet, it will give you a breakdown on each one of the missions about how to do a setup, what boards you're going to use, what tokens go where the guards stand, where Snake or any other characters start. This is a order card in terms of when the guards activate. You'll get all of that in the book in order to set up exactly what it is you're looking at for your map and how it correlates to the game. Over here, Snake, for right now, it just has his card with his 4 action tokens on it. You're also going to have this token on the side. It's actually double-sided. You have a noise token right here where Snake has made noise. And then over there is your alert token. I'm hoping we don't see that in today's session, but you never know. Snake does have other tokens that come with him. They have like various symbols on it. They have his face up in the corner right there. You're not going to need them for this stage. You'll need them for the next one. This is the way the tutorial works. You're actually going to ignore these completely, and you're going to ignore the special abilities down here that Snake has for this mission. Other tokens you're going to have to decide are these red ones, which are your damage tokens, and then these right here are like stun damage. These are lethal damage to an enemy. They'll kill them if they hit a certain amount, depending on the guard. This is stun, which will only just knock out a guard, but sometimes that's better. Sometimes you just want to knock out a guard in order to move forward, in order not to have any other bad effects happen later on, and just to take them out of the game for a little bit. So a lot of choice on what you want to do with a guard when you see them on the field. And then just again, a representation, we have a pile of these tokens as well. These skulls right here are death tokens. You have killed an enemy. The body stays on the field, so this actually will go where that soldier was. This is a stun token. The figure comes off and the stun token goes in place with 2 stars. 1 star, they're almost awake, and then once they're fully awake, it comes off the board. So make sure these are to the side as well. Finally, make sure you have a nice pile of black and white dice. The black dice are just a standard D6. The white dice are a standard D6 with the exception of the 1, which is then replaced by the iconic exclamation point that you would see within Metal Gear Solid. A thing to note about this, that is not a number, and that's going to really come more into play in the next scenario when we start talking about dice mitigation, but that is not a number, that is just an exclamation point. Other things that affect numbers will affect all of these dice. Okay, now that you have all those tokens to the side and everything, we have Snake's 4 action tokens right here. So these are 4 little circles with his head. You're going to want to set up the guard order card. First thing you're going to do is find the 7 red cards and give them a good shuffle. This is your game's timer. If you happen to draw a card from the red stack and it says game over, well, it's not that one. Oh, it's tense. Oh, it's tense. Where is it? Oh my God, I'm good and pretty. Oh, there it is. Haha. If you happen to draw this card while you're going through the bottom half of that, or the bottom portion of that deck, I should say, as you can see, mission failed, game over, snake, snake, snake. This will always be the same for every game you play. So you take all 7, you shuffle them up, no idea where that game over is, and you put that, boom, on the bottom there. Next, you're going to want to find all 20 of your guard order cards right here, and you're going to read the book and you're going to see how many of these guard order cards you're going to need for this particular mission. Again, this is your timer. As you go through each one of your turns, Snake will take his turn, and then the guards will take a turn, and it just kind of goes back and forth that way. Every time the guards take a turn, they take the top card from here, they resolve whatever is on the other side, and so for just this example, I'll go over these as I go through the game, but this is a stunned enemy waking up, a camera switch, and then how the guards actually move around, whether they be running towards an alert token, if they see a dead body or an unconscious person, if they hear something, or if they're just doing a basic patrol, how many spaces they move, and then if they need to make a decision about where to turn, the tiebreaker. For this mission, I'm going to shuffle these up, and we're going to take 10 of these teal guard cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. All the rest go back in the box for later missions. I've seen as high as 17 cards in a stack, plus the 7 on the bottom. 10 is generally the lowest because this is not that long of a mission, or at least it shouldn't be. Now, all of that is set up, and our board is also put all together. For this one, we just needed a single board, but there are a lot of other boards like this within the box, double-sided and everything. There are a small amount of little boards as well of various sizes. This is an elevator shaft. You know anything about the game? Within the first portion of it, Snake has scuba dived into, this docking, cargo dock, whatever, on Shadow Moses Island, and now he has to infiltrate the nuclear facility in order to stop Foxhound from launching a nuke and destroying the world. And of course, it gets much more complicated than that because they have a mobile battle unit that can launch a nuke at any point and anywhere in the world. That we will explain as the story goes on. Snake starts here according to the book, so you're going to want to make sure you see that. Each one of these guards are in their starting position, and they're in a starting facing. If you look at the guards, this guy will probably be the easiest one to see. He has a little notch on the bottom right there. That indicates his facing. Guards pretty much have a very nice line of sight. They're going to be able to see all the way down in a straight line wherever they are facing, but it's only where they are facing. If Snake was right here, this guard would not see him. If this guard was here and Snake was right here, this guard would not see him. It's always anything directly in front of them. Now, of course, they're going to want to be able to move around as freely, so I will explain how the guards move when it gets to their turn and everything. But for right now, just kind of keep in mind where everything is. This right here is an event token. This will either give you an item or it will activate something that will push forward the mission. In this case, the moment Snake steps on this, the elevator comes down. And the goal of this mission is for him to get into the elevator, use an interact action in order to send the elevator up without his alert token being on the map. How do we do that? With our various actions over here. Now, you're going to notice there's going to be a bunch of numbers on the side over here. These represent how many action points it takes for Snake to be able to perform such actions. Going down the line, we first have Sneak, move 1 space. So to do that, I would take 1 token, put it right there, and Snake would be able to move orthogonally into an available space. Now, if you look at the space here, you have a red wall going here and a red wall going here. These are impassable spots. These are also things that block line of sight. So as long as he's behind something, even if this guy was like up here, boop, he wouldn't be able to see Snake because he would be hiding. He's currently hiding under here. Red lines and black lines block line of sight. There are some weird situations in this game that you have like a half wall that doesn't really block line of sight, but there is something you can do because it represents Snake putting his back up against the wall. I gotta do a little bit more checking out on that. But for right now, we did 1 action for Sneak, so that means we can either move here or here 1 space. Next action we have is Dash. Dash is also 1 action. If I were to put this here, I'd be able to move 2 spaces, but it does come with a risk. So with that, instead of being able to do 1, I could move 1, 2. Again, you can't move diagonal, so I can't like go 1, 2, and stuff like that. You have to go in orthogonal spaces around the board. So Snake would go 1, 2. What this little symbol here on the side is a noise maker, meaning that I have done a noisy action. At the end of my turn, after I have placed all of my tokens on the board and have taken all of my actions, say I did 2 dashes, I would look to see how many noisy actions I took, and I would have to roll white dice equal to that number. So I did 2 dashes, just for example. That means I'll have to roll 2 white dice. Just say, for example, I dashed here, whatever, and I ended my turn for some reason. I now will be taking 2 white dice, and we roll them, and what we don't want is that exclamation point, because if we get that exclamation point, Snake has then made noise, and it goes under wherever his figure has stopped. So no matter where you go, where you're going to end your turn, that's when you roll these dice. At the end of your turn, if you roll an exclamation point, you have made noise, and now the guards are aware of your presence. Other things that Snake can do, first he can do hand-to-hand attack. This requires 1 action. An adjacent figure he can hit for 1 white dice. Every character has a defense to them, so Snake has a 3 defense. Snake also has 4 health and 3 equipment slots. So as we gain equipment throughout the course of the game, we'll only be able to equip 3 things onto him for each one of the missions. So you equip 3 things at the start of the missions. That's what he has on him immediately for that mission. You won't be able to change your loadout until you start a new mission, or if you get a game over, you gotta do it again. Snake has no starting equipment because he is OSP, on-site procurement. So nothing starts. Now, as I mentioned before, the hand-to-hand attack, you would roll 1 white dice, and you would generally do this against guards. Guards also have a 3 defense, and they each have 2 health, as shown by their information card that came with the game. I'm not using that here just for the sake of the camera, but if I was adjacent to a guard, I would roll this dice. I did a 5 right there, so I would have done 1 damage to him. 1 damage doesn't really do much. I would need to use I could use 4 actions if I wanted to in order to roll 4 dice and see how many hits I can do. This is non-lethal damage, stun damage, so it would just stun the guard if I managed to hit him for 2 or more health. I could also do a combo attack for 2 actions. An adjacent figure, I roll 3 dice, 2 white and a black dice, increases my chances of doing a lot of damage, and then that also deals stun damage. Each dice will do its own set of damage, so if I roll these 3 dice, I can do this, and just for sake of argument, it was like that. I would have done 2 damage to that guard, stun damage, knocking him out. Focus is something we will worry about in the next stage, so don't worry about that right now. Dragging a body around, you can pick up an unconscious or a dead token you are on or adjacent to and move it 1 space to an empty adjacent space. That is a noisy action, but sometimes you want to drag bodies and drop them off in places, so you can put them in front of guards in order to distract them and get them away from you. The interact action right here costs 1 action. The drag body is 1 action, by the way. Interact is 1 action. This is how we're going to get out of here from the elevator. We have to be in a spot and use 1 action. The 3 dice here really only apply to putting in codes or anything that has an interact action that has dice next to it. I would have 3 dice in order to be able to do whatever it needs to do. You're not going to find that out until I start doing the VR missions. And I will be doing VR missions in between various stages as I go through this campaign, kind of like making sure that they are good filler episodes between big events within the game. Because there's a point where it's like mission 2 to 3, there's a lot of story and a lot of things that happen between those 2 missions that does not have a mission itself for this game, so I'll use the VR missions in order to represent that. Anyway, the next ability we have is knock, making noise wherever you are. You draw attention to your space. You knock wherever, Snake is, and you would put that token, this one, the I made noise token, right under Snake, and that's going to draw guards to that area, of course being a good thing in order to try to lead them to one way, and then you run the other. And finally, for 2 actions, you do a silent takedown. This is an instant kill. If you are behind an adjacent guard, so you have to be behind them, not to the side or anything, you grab them, you unalive them, and they go down. You leave a skull marker right there. That is for 2 actions. So you've done all 4 of your actions. You have snuck 1, 2, 3 times for a sneak. You dashed for 1, so you're right here. Maybe you dashed twice. So you did 1 sneak, 2 sneak, dash, dash. You rolled your dice and you're fine. Perfect. Now it is the guard's turn to patrol their area. Guards will be drawing from the top of the guard order deck and following the commands from top to bottom, left to right, as they read through this and do whatever it is they need to do. For example, this first one right here, as I think I flipped before. No, I did not, because this has a no change on the camera. Top to bottom. First things first, if there were any of these tokens on the field, the double star would turn to single, and then a single star would then be a guard that stands up and then will be able to act during the third part of this card. Next, we see if any cameras change position. There are no cameras in stage 1. They will start making an appearance in stage 2. Basically, you'll have this marker next to you and then a bunch of other tokens on the field that show their various color directions. If it was green, it would turn orange. If it was orange, it would turn green. No change means it doesn't change. Sometimes that's helpful. Most of the time it's not, because the times when you don't want it to change, it does. And when you do want it to change, it doesn't. Last, you would have the guard movement that would go from left to right. And as I mentioned before, because I know I talked about that, the first thing is if there is an alert token on the field, the guards would go that many spaces towards the alert token, the shortest route possible, however it is fast they can get there. This is if they have a dead body or a stunned body within line of sight, they're going to head right to it. This is if they heard noise, then they're going to head right to it. Of course, the shortest path for both of them. And if none of that is true, then they're just going to basically patrol, moving straight forward in their line until they hit a point where they need to turn, in which case they will turn whatever the direction here is as the tiebreaker. So let's move these guards in order so you can see how that looks in action. You're going to make sure you have this token in view. The book will show you the layout of the map and then where this goes. I've seen people play this vertically, which is how you see it in the game, not this way. You're supposed to be moving upwards towards that. But if you are playing this vertically, you're going to need to turn this way. So this way, the guards are activating in the right order. Basically, it's always going to be left to right, next row, left to right, next row, left to right, next row, so on and so forth, all the way down. So first, this guard is going to move. He's going to move 2 spaces. 1, he has hit a wall. He must change to a new position now because he hit a wall. The only available position is to his left, so he will immediately turn and then move his second space. Now this guy goes 1, 2. He has landed on one of these little arrow symbols here. This means that he must find a new path. He can't turn around because it has to be a path left or right of him. And if he had a choice of either side, the card that we drew from the guard order card would tell you which way he turns. But he can't turn here because this is a blocked wall. So he's just going to turn that way, and that's going to end his turn. Final guy right here is going to go 1, 2. Got very lucky with this right now because Snake is able to go again. Now we're going to set up some situations here that are kind of like hypothetical and everything. So just give an idea of what some of the special movements are. If there's ever a case where guards are near each other and they need to move, they're going to do this ability called leapfrogging. Characters can leapfrog over enemies. It's very dangerous to do. Enemies can leapfrog over other enemies. Enemies cannot leapfrog over your character. So Snake can leapfrog over this guy can leapfrog over here. He cannot leapfrog over Snake. Now, what is leapfrogging exactly? Let's move that more to the middle so we can see it a little bit better. Leapfrogging is basically moving to an open space without counting whatever space a character is on. You can share space with tokens, but figures of any type, good, bad, whatever, cannot share spaces together. So if this guard had to move 3 spaces, would say a directional turn like that, he would move 1. that would be his first space, because this space right here with this guy would not count. So it would be 1, 2, turning for 3, which again would be very lucky because Snake is right here. If there was multiple guards in a row, this guard, if he was doing the same thing, 1, jumping over all of them, spin, 2, 3, spin again, yada, yada, yada. So that is how leapfrog works for enemies. If Snake decides that he wants to dash this way and get away from these guys, he can dash by going 1, 2, getting away that way. This is problematic though, because guards, if you leapfrog over them, will attack you. Each one of these guys will get a free attack. Guards attack by rolling 2 black dice. And again, if you hit Snake with a 3 or more, he takes a damage. In this case, he would only take 1 damage from one guard. I'm just kind of playing this through to see what would happen. And 1 damage from another guard. Very risky, because the more guards you have here, the more ability is they have to shoot you. But that would have only been 2 damage from Snake. And of course, to represent that, you have these little tokens right here. Once Snake has hit 4, he is dead, game over. He is KIA, killed in action. That is one of the many lose conditions that you could have going from mission to mission, stage to stage on this. KIA is generally the one that you'll see in all of them. So if any character dies, it's game over. There are other game over conditions, so be sure you read your book. Again, line of sight is unlimited. Guards will only attack on the guard phase, which will be after Snake does all of his movements. So if this guard moved here and stopped and turned this way and immediately saw Snake, you would take the alert token, put that under Snake, and this guard would get an attack because he saw Snake. He immediately became in line of sight. If I don't move Snake and the guard phase goes again, he won't move, but because he's in immediate visual contact, line of sight of Snake, he will attack again. So now we need to get out of here. We need to get out of line of sight of this guy, and what we're going to do is we are going to dash away. Dashing again is 2 spaces, and then the alert token is actually going to follow Snake. The way you can thematically think this guy is watching you. He saw you go this way, so he knows you went that way. And because you were running, you're going to keep moving. Whenever you leave line of sight from a guard, your token stops wherever it is that your movement does. So instead of dashing, say we just did a sneak because we just moved 1 space. Now we're going to dash by doing 1, 2, 1, 2 and try to run away from this guy. This stops here because our sneak was only 1 movement, and then we dashed away from it. This guy just knew we ran down this way, so now he's going to come and investigate it. When a guard steps on one of these, you're going to flip a guard reaction card, which is going to give you a various different things depending on the token that the guard stepped on, and then things will happen, whether it be moving cards or calling in backup or all kinds of other stuff like that. Once all the guards have taken their turn, then it's back to Snake doing 4 actions and then flipping a guard order card, and the guards go again. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until one of the conditions are met for either losing the game or completing whatever part of the mission that you are on. With that said, I would say that for right now, this tutorial is done. We're going to go into the game session because you'll be able to see it in action and probably understand it a little more. And then certain things will pop up that I will explain as we go forward. But for right now, let's watch the insertion of Snake into the game, into one of the most dangerous areas of the world, because our one-man army is there to save everyone. Let's go.
The nuclear weapons disposal facility on Shadow Moses Island in Alaska's Fox Archipelago was attacked and captured by Next Generation Special Forces, being led by members of Foxhound. They're demanding that the government turn over the remains of Big Boss, and they say that if their demands are not met within 24 hours, they'll launch a nuclear weapon. You'll have 2 mission objectives. First, you're to rescue DARPA Chief Donald Anderson and the president of Armstech, Kenneth Baker. Both are being held as hostages. Secondly, you're to investigate whether or not the terrorists have the ability to make a nuclear strike and stop them if they do.
What's the insertion method?
We'll approach the disposal facility by sub.
And then?
We'll launch a one-man SDV. After the SDV gets as close as it can, dispose of it. From there on, you'll have to swim. Your weapons disposal facility covers the whole island. I'll instruct you by CODEC after you reach your target.
Anyone going with me?
As usual, this is a one-man infiltration mission.
Weapons and equipment OSP?
Yes, this is a top-secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
Stay alert. It'll be through here. I know it. I'm going to swat down a couple of bothersome flies.
This is Snake. Colonel, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. What's the situation, Snake?
Looks like the elevator in the back is the only way up.
Just as I expected. You'll have to take the elevator to the surface. But make sure nobody sees you. If you need to, contact me by codec. The codec's receiver directly stimulates the small bones of your ear. No one but you will be able to hear it.
Got it. Okay, I'm ready to go.
All right, we got ourselves some nice background music on this one. We're gonna give this a try for a few episodes and pray that I don't get flagged at all by YouTube. It's video game music, it should work, right? We got Snake starting up here. Objective, interact with the elevator while your alert token is not on the map. Failure, Snake is killed in action or the game over card is revealed. With that said, we have 4 actions now. Let's go ahead and see what it is that we want to do. All right, so I think probably our best form of action is definitely should dash at least. I think we're just going to do what I said before. The other thing, we're going to dash twice. Hopefully we don't make any noise. And we're going to sneak twice. So we get to move 2 spaces quietly and then 4 spaces making a little bit of noise. So we're going to go sneak, sneak, and then dash 1, 2, dash 1, 2. So we are right here. Now, if we make noise, we're in trouble. We're in trouble if we make noise, and we did not. Fantastic. I'll be doing like live rolls right here because there's plenty of space on all of these boards in order to do these rolls, so I think it's just a little bit better and a little bit more, it keeps the flow of action moving if I just roll right there. All right, we've completed all 4 actions. The guards now take their turn. So the top order card here says that if there are 3 or more dead bodies on the field, we would take the top card, revealing it first, because if we're in the red, it may reveal a game over. But if it is not, then it goes to the bottom of the stack, basically burning through your time more. The green would switch to orange would switch to green, but we don't have any cameras, and we don't have any alert, dead bodies, stunned, or noise, so they're gonna do patrolling. Every guard's gonna move 3 spaces, and if they need to break a tie, they will move to their right. Sometimes, depending on where guards are going, I like having the card to the side, so like if this guy needed to turn, I'll know that he'll need to turn that way. This guy would need to turn that way, and just have a little bit of a reference for the card there. But going left to right, this guy will go first. He is again moving 3, 1, makes the turn, 2, 3. This guy goes next, 1, 2, 3. This guy goes last, 1, 2, 3. Guards have finished, Snake's turn again. You stay over in a discard pile just to kind of get an idea of like what you've gone through. We'll move these away, and I think we're just going to do 4 sneaking actions, trying to be as quiet as we can, getting to the area we got to get to. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, sneaking away right up. Again, our goal is to touch this. As soon as we touch this, the elevator comes down. Next guard order card. Again, if there was 3 skulls on the board, the camera switched, nothing. Guards move 4 spaces, and then they'll turn left. So actually, here's right a good example. 1, 2, 3, 4. He has 2 different ways that he needs to turn. Both of them are valid. Based on the way that he is looking, he would turn that way, and that would end his movement. Same thing for this guy. He would go this way. Based on the way he's looking, he would go that way. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. So now we're in trouble, because I wanted to touch this space immediately in order to be able to activate it. And now this guy is facing that way, and I need to figure out another course of action. This guy's gonna go 1, turn, 2, 3, 4. You only activate these when you stop movement on them. And now I'm in trouble, because he's gonna go like this, and boom, he immediately sees me. Oh no! And so we are going to grab our alert token, and we're going to shove that right underneath Snake. And this guy is going to take a shot at us, and he's going to hit us for 1 because that was a 4. Ow! Okay, so we got 1 hit on Snake. It is Snake's turn now, which is good. If you enter a guard's line of sight while the alert token is out, they won't shoot you. They only shoot you on the guard turn, so you have a chance of getting away. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to definitely dash for 1, which will still make noise, so we got to be careful of that. And then we'll dash for 1, and then I think I'm going to do 3 sneaks in order to hide. Oh man, this guy's watching me the whole time. Sneak, all right, that's dash. So we dash for 1, sneak for 1, and then I have 2 more sneaks to go like this. So I'm hiding in the corner right here. Hopefully they'll just be able to run past me, but he saw me run this way, so he knows that I went this way. He doesn't know exactly which way I went. Now the guards are going to focus on getting to this spot in order to basically kill me. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, here we go. All right. This is a stun removal, so the guards would go from stun to 1 to open. The cameras would switch. We are in alert mode, so now all the guards are going to try to head to the spot, no matter who's closest or not, for 6 movement. We're going to start with this guy. He has to take the shortest path possible. The shortest path is either one, it's one or the other. I do get to choose, but I think he would do this by going 1, 2, and then he would leapfrog for 3, 4, 5, 6, landing right on top of that. Now we go to the guard reaction card, flipping this over, and we have, where did they go? So we're going to remove the alert token. So now the alert is gone. Alert has been satisfied. Then spawn 1 guard on the summon spot, or the guard call radio spot. This card does not activate this turn. So on each one of the maps, and this is something I probably should have mentioned in the tutorial, but that's where you guys are watching the rest of this, right? There is a guard count number on here. There will be certain cards that draw that has this radio symbol on it. That means respawn guards. If there's ever less guards than the number on the map, then you would spawn guards right here in order to get back up to this number. This is like the minimum amount of guards you can have whenever something happens like that, but you can have more, like this guy right here would spawn right on the radio. If you needed to spawn more, you would just spawn them to either one of the 2 areas right here. That would be your choice. So now this is done. That guy has gone, and now we're back to patrol mode. So with patrol mode in this card, these 2 guys are going to move 5. He would go first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, because he's facing this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and of course I have another guard right there, just being a jerk. Oh boy. I don't want to wait around, because if anything happens, then I'm going to be in trouble. I kind of want to knock out a guard. Oh man, what do I want to do? All right, we're going to give this a shot. We're going to see what we can do with Snake and being awesome. We're going to sneak for 1. We're going to combo attack for 2, and then I'm just going to sneak again a little bit back just so I don't get caught if anybody's in the way. I actually forgot to do the dice roll from that last thing. No noise was made when I dashed over this way, because my last turn I dashed. This is also going to be, this is not a noisy move actually. I go up here and I'm right adjacent to him. He doesn't see me. Now, if I don't do 2 damage to this guy, he is going to see me and we are going to be in a load of trouble. So let's hope that I get 3s or highers on all of this. I got a 4, that was a 4. I got a 4 and a 6, which is enough to knock this guy out. Blah, blah, blah. Which means this guy is poofed, gone into knockout mode right there. And I think instead of, I know it's gonna be a noisy action, but I'm gonna take a chance one last time. So instead of doing another sneak, I'm gonna go ahead and drag this body into the cell with me. So I pick it up and I move it to an adjacent space. I'm going to throw him right here against the wall. That was almost noisy, but not noisy enough. Okay, good. All right, with all that, now it depends on what happens with the guards here. All right, so we have, again, if there are 3 dead bodies on the field, then we would have taken the top card and moved it to the bottom. No change for the camera, no alerts, nothing. This guy isn't going to be, hopefully he stays knocked out for quite a while. No noise, patrol 3 and to the left. All right, so we're going to start with this guy. 1, 2, we got a choice here. So he moves to the left, 3, which is going to move to the left again. Oh my God, keep it over there. Stay over that way. 1, turn, 2, 3. 1, turn to the left, 2 and 3. Wow, they have the buddy system going on here. That's fine. You guys just keep, you mosey on down over this way. Try to find the rations that were there that aren't in the board game. Not yet. And then I can sneak around this way and get myself up here. Actually, with that in mind, Snake's turn, he's just gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, sneak myself up this way. I'm gonna take no chances now because now it's getting a little tense. It'll be so much easier once I'm able to dice mitigate and get some equipment. This first level's hard if you're not like really careful. It's also the drawing of these cards that make things challenging. Once again, we don't have any dead bodies. Camera change, 4 and to the right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Will turn to the right. 4. There's no other valid turns that he's facing the wall. Guards will never end their turn facing a wall. They will always face a possible direction. So he's that. 1, 2, 3, 4. To the right. 1. Make a turn here. 2, 3, 4. He has to change direction because he's on here. To the right is to the wall, so now he has to go this way. And not really a tie, he would have to go left regardless because he can't face the wall, but thank goodness that I made that one little step here to get out of line of sight. Oh boy, that would have been terrible. All right, we're gonna match this one last time. 4 sneak actions. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can touch event marker A. That'll come off the board, and here comes the elevator. Yup, down, down, down it goes, and boom, with another guard in it. Now, my goal is to make it to this spot right here and use an interact action in order to complete the mission. But first, the guards are gonna go. All right, so we have here a radio in receiver. Basically, this would spawn a guard on that spot should the map have 3 or less guards on it. Now, by that, you don't count token guards of sorts, because this is a guard. He's knocked out, sitting in the side, by himself. This wouldn't count towards a number. So if there was only like 2 guards like this, then somebody would spawn. But because we have 4 guards now, because he's considered part of this zone coming in like this, we are more than enough. We don't need to spawn a guard. Cameras don't change because there's no camera. Nothing is alert. 5 and to the right. So we're gonna start with this guy. This is gonna be a weird pattern. He's gonna go 1, 2, 3, turn, 4, 5. He's facing the wall, so this is one of the few times you'll ever have a guard that will double back on his position. Normally that doesn't happen, but you have dead ends like this. You would go next. 1, turn, 2, 3, 4, turn, 5. He would go first technically. This is a weird one. Doesn't matter. I'm pretty much ending this. They're chatting over here. They're having a smoke break. Didn't you see the guy? Where did he go? I don't know. I didn't see him. Hey, you dropped some cigarettes over here. Oh, you're right. That's so weird. This guy doesn't have any. Where did my smokes go? There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Walking right past this area because he doesn't see this guy in there. This guy. 1, 2. Doesn't see me. 3, 4, 5. Turning to the right. Oh my goodness. All right. That's it. We're done. We're going to do 1 sneak action. I'm sorry, 1 dash action, 1 sneak action, interface with the, or interact, I should say, with the button. And here we go. Up and out of stage 1. Wow, that got close to being really bad at some point. Good job, Snake. Good job avoiding everybody the way you do. I like now, I'm going to see where the game over card was. So nothing there. This is a new one that we haven't seen yet. This is if Snake is within 2 spots of a guard, then he has made noise and it will trigger, which is really bad because generally the guard is going to make it to you every time because the lowest amount of movement that they can do is 2. This is just noise. This is going to be like, if there's a guard near you within 2 spaces, they're going to find you. This also has a codec number connected to it. So with that, based off of everything, we can go ahead and call this. This is codec number 0504.
There's a guard within 2 or fewer spaces from you along the shortest path and they are not alerted to your presence. You'll have to put your attention token under your figure even if you have no line of sight to the guard. Genome soldiers have highly developed senses. Keep in mind, this doesn't count as drawing attention or effects that trigger from drawing attention.
Thank you, Naomi. There's going to be a lot of things that we will find within this game that have various codecs added to them. I will be reading them and doing my best to do the voices and everything. And from there, we'll learn a few extra things about the game. You'll never know what you're going to find with the codec. So, nope. Wow. All the way at the end again. Okay, well, that's good. I'm fine with that. I mean, I've had games where it was the second card in, but you really don't want to get down to the red because that could be really, really bad, obviously. Also, normally at the end of a mission, we'll have something in order to be able to discover like a new item or an equipment or something like that we can find, put into our memory box and use for the next mission. However, in this case, we will not be able to get anything until the end of stage 2, the heliport, which is the second part of the tutorial. So, in order not to miss any more tactical espionage action within Metal Gear Solid, the board game, or any other fun thing I put out for you to enjoy, be sure you are subscribed to the Home Gamer Dad. If you wish to support the channel even further, there are ways to do that down in the description section below. Memberships and Patreon and things along that way are always a good thing. But regardless of anything, hopefully you are just as excited for this as I am. So that means your view, your like, your sharing, comments, all that go a long way to helping the channel grow. Really give me the emphasis and the motivation and I can't wait to do this in order to be able to record all this for you guys, put it on out there, and so you can see exactly what the story is for Snake going through Shadow Moses and all of this nostalgia for me and maybe for a lot of you out there. If you don't know the story from Metal Gear, there's a lot. It's going to be a heavy spoiler through this whole thing, by the way. So highly recommend either trying to play it for yourself, checking it out somewhere, or just getting a little synopsis because we got a long way to go. And this is just going to get more and more exciting with each passing stage, with each passing mission for Snake and his allies that he encounters along the way. Thank you once again. Take care of yourselves and each other. We are family forever, gaming together until the next time when we have reached the top and we'll do whatever we need to do to get into the building. I will see you then. Take care of yourselves, guys. Here we go.